Hey, what's going on, guys? So PlayStation and Insomniac finally revealed the first gameplay trailer for Marvel's Wolverine, which will release in the fall of 2026, assuming we're all still here, that is. And I'm excited. It's kinda, a little bit. Yeah, it's weird. It's more like after three Insomniac Marvel games, I just know what to expect, because in the same way that Spider-Man PS4, Exaggerated Swagger Man, and Kraven's Last King in Black, if we're being 100% honest with ourselves, are basically just refined versions of Spider-Man games past in terms of gameplay, combat, and traversal, with a narrative that feels like somebody typed into an AI prompt, Reddit approved Spider-Man movie script, but make it a video game. Like, come on, like, that's exactly what we're gonna get from Insomniac's Wolverine, which isn't a bad thing. You know, gameplay wise, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Again, in the same way that Insomniac Spider-Man games are more or less what if Shattered Dimensions were open world like Treyarch's Spider-Man 2 and Ultimate Spider-Man, I'm more than certain that Marvel's Wolverine is just gonna be a more refined version of X-Men Origins Wolverine. Again, with a narrative that's generically inoffensive, but familiar enough to comic book readers, while also, more importantly, being familiar to comic book movie fans and Marvel fans who are familiar with these characters on film and in TV shows and stuff like that. Which, saying it out loud, kind of sounds like a bummer. But don't get me wrong, I do think this is going to be a fun game. In the same way that Sony's Insomniac's Marvel Spider-Man 2 is a fun game. I think the cast they've got is really solid. I think Liam McIntyre, at least going off the trailer, he's a good Wolverine. If you're not going to go with Stephen Blum. The gameplay, again, looks like X-Men Origins Wolverine if you ran that game through a Naughty Dog filter, which is fitting. It works for a character like Logan. I've also seen some people complain about the costume, and I get it. It is very MCU tactical in a way that a lot of Marvel characters are designed now, just in general, and you can thank Brian Hitch and Eddie Granoff for that. But I don't know, I feel like that kind of aesthetic works for a character like Wolverine and that whole globe-trotting, cyberpunk mercenary side of the Marvel Universe. And again, just going off the trailer, it looks like Wolverine's going to be going up against the Reavers, because I see cyborgs in an X-Men thing, I immediately think of the Reavers. Now, I don't know the state of the X-Men or what the status of mutants in this universe is like. At least going off of the Spider-Man games, it seems like mutants aren't really a thing in the Insomniac universe. So this might be a universe where mutants are a new phenomenon, in a world where Spider-Man and the Avengers are already well established, which feels weird and wrong to me. But this is also a universe where Gwen Stacy never existed and Spider-Man didn't fight the Sinister Six until he was about a decade into a superhero career. So, in terms of world building, Insomniac is just, they're doing their own thing. So, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the route they end up going. But yeah, the game, once again, looks fun, and that's the most important thing in my opinion. But yeah, like I said, this is the fourth Insomniac Marvel game. I kind of feel like I know what to expect from these guys. Fun gameplay that's heavily inspired by previous Marvel games with the title character, and an uninspired movie pitch narrative campaign in the style of Arkham City or Uncharted. I just hope that, unlike Spider-Man 2, this game doesn't wind up feeling like a technical marvel, no pun intended, that's ultimately hollow and filled with plot holes that are vaguely covered with sticky notes that read, "Will fix later" in DLC that will never be released. So basically, if it's as good as the first Insomniac Spider-Man game and Miles Morales, then I have no problem with the $80+ price tag that this game will undoubtedly have hanging off its short, hairy butt. Or, I guess, tall, hairy butt. And that is all the expectation I'm going into this with. But what about you? Are you excited for this game? Let me know down below in the comment section. Also, if you like content like this, subscribe to the channel. Literally, all you gotta do is hit the button, and I can guarantee that's the best way for me to keep making content like this for you guys. Anyways, in the meantime, thanks for watching, and as always, until next time, take care, guys.